This message right here is not to be played with. The devil will do everything he can to make you drift off while I'm talking and to make you argue in your mind while I'm talking. Jesus finishes his teaching and he says to them, enter by the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter by it are many. But he says, for the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. There are only two gates, two ways that lead to two different endings. And if you study the words of Jesus carefully, if you follow his logic, watch, every single human being is in one of these two gates. The first gate has a name. The name of the first gate is called Christ. The other gate is broad. It has a name, the world. There's no requirement to enter that gate. We are born behind that gate, and people are just running down that gate. He says, enter the narrow gate. That gate is easy. This word enter in the original language is an imperative. It is a command. It is forceful. It is a warning. It is come in here. Get in here. Come through this gate. Come to me. Surrender to me. Follow me. Come after me. You don't want no parts of the ending of the other gate. Two gates. What's behind these two gates? Let's talk about the two ways. The first way says it is easy. Let's talk about that way. And it is broad. Who are some of the travelers on the Broadway? The self-righteous are traveling down the Broadway. People who are trying to earn something from God with good behavior and with morality. The people who think that because I'm a good person, I'm going to heaven. Or because I'm moral, I'm going to heaven. Or because I was baptized as a baby, I'm going to heaven, when you just got wet that day. Self-deceived are the travelers of the Broadway. The atheist is on the Broadway. The agnostic is traveling down the Broadway. The pagans are traveling down the Broadway. Every spin-off of Christianity is traveling down the Broadway. People attending the Kingdom Hall are on the Broadway. The Mormons are on the Broadway. Every false Christian religion is on the Broadway. People who don't believe in God are traveling down the Broadway. Influencers are on the Broadway. Athletes are on the Broadway. Rappers are on the Broadway. Family members are on the Broadway. Friends are on the Broadway. People we love are on the Broadway. People sitting in this room are on the Broadway. Someone watching me right now are traveling down the Broadway. The Broadway is sparkly, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's easy. People who hop in and out of church and don't really have no commitment to God are going down the Broadway. People who are vacillating are going down the Broadway. I mean, millions and millions and millions of people are traveling the Broadway. Whole nations are going down the Broadway. Islamic nations are going down the Broadway. Whole countries and nations are traveling down the Broadway. Somebody sitting on your row right now is traveling down the Broadway. You got people in churches all across America right now. Right now as I'm talking to you, they are traveling down the Broadway. They're in church every Sunday. They warm a chair, but they're far away from God, thinking that they're safe, thinking that they're comfortable, not knowing they're a car accident away from trouble, one breath away from trouble, a stroke away from trouble. Traveling down the Broadway. Keep doing you. Do you live your truth on the Broadway? Everybody got their own truth on the Broadway. They're trusting in crystals on the Broadway. They're trusting in horoscopes on the Broadway. They're trusting in fortune tellers on the Broadway. They're trusting in the little jujubes and the idols you have in your pockets and in your house on the Broadway. Two ways. Two permanent endings. There is no other option. There is no other way. There is no purgatory. There is no getting out of hell. There is no do-over. There is no second chance when you draw your last breath. You get one shot to get this right. The writer of Hebrews says it is appointed to a man to live once, and then he must face the judgment. You get one shot, and your shot ends when you draw your last breath.